everybody. Welcome to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. I'm your host, Thomas. As always, I have my co-host. First off, Taylor, welcome back.
Thank you. Good day. Thanks
Like
for
the
having
plaid.
me. Thank you.
Like the plaid,
Thank you.
first and foremost. Cole, what's going on, man?
Hey man, what's up? How y'all doing?
Coming at us with the new camera.
Yes. Oh yeah, and I'm the Duke of ankle injuries this week.
What happened?
Well, I jump around I have a concrete truck. I deliver small loads of concrete, so I have this baby concrete truck. It's my main job, and I jump all over this thing just crazy. Like I hop up and down it, I hop off, and I jumped off at my last job on Friday. I landed in a hole, completely turned my ankle out like that, heard a pop, just completely collapsed, and I was done, dude. It is so swollen. It looks like a baseball under my skin.
Oh, man.
I haven't been able to walk. It's been terrible. But we'll see. At least I've been able to play video games.
Have you gone to the doctor?
I did. I went to the doctor because when I heard it pop, I thought it was broken. But he was telling me that was the tendon just tearing in two, pretty much.
I mean, the more the merrier, right? The more tendons, the better.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I know. It's rough.
Oh man, Ben, how you doing this week, man?
Good. Taylor, what kind of sandwich you got?
I got a Reuben. I was gonna say your story wasn't very appetizing, but
All right, I'm just hungrily eyeing Taylor's sandwich. That's how I am.
it's delicious.
So, as always, what have we been playing this week? Free for
I'll start. I'm playing something a little weird. I'm playing Planescape Torment on my phone, of all things. I'm not a mobile gamer much at all, but Planescape Torment is not really a mobile game. It's a classic Dungeons and Dragons inspired, or I guess it's set in the world of Dungeons and Dragons, like old school RPG. So it's made on the same engine as the Baldur's Gate games, the original Baldur's Gate games. And I forget which developer made it, but it's one of these like all-time classic RPGs that everyone has to experience, yada yada yada. That I like. It's been in my backlog for God knows how long. So finally made its way out of the backlog. I gotta say, I've been so intimidated for so long, like kind of weirdly, by these CRPGs, these computer role-playing games. I love role-playing games, but there's just something like about the top-down, isometric perspective and these like very seemingly systems-driven RPGs that are reliant on Dungeons and Dragons systems, which I have no familiarity with. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before. They all kind of intimidated me. I'm like, do I have to like read a book in order to play this properly? The answer with Planescape, at least, is no, not at all. In fact, the game is mostly reading a book. It's basically interactive fiction with a couple more layers, which is awesome. It's exactly what I wanted, because I've heard that the story is so good in this game. It's so good, and that's been my experience so far. It's a really well written game. It's a little archaic in some ways, but there's not much in the way of gameplay systems that would really hold the experience down. So it's mostly stands on the strength of the writing, and it's held up. It's really, really good. I'm not really, like I said, I've never played Dungeons and Dragons before, so I'm not generally into like fantasy settings, that kind of thing. My foray into RPGs was the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games, and then the Fallout games, Mass Effect, and others, so more sci-fi oriented, but this game has really surprised me so far.
Good stuff. And it's called, what was the name of it?
Planescape Torment.
I'm gonna write that down. Planescape Torment. That sounds interesting. Because I'm not into those games either. I love RPGs. But I've started to learn that my love of RPGs comes from JRPGs. Not necessarily those top-down experiences such as, like old school Fallout, but before
Yeah.
Fallout 3, Wasteland, like stuff like that. Like I was never really into, but what you just described actually sounds kind of right up my alley. Kind of sounds very similar to Disco Elysium. Elysium.
Yeah, Disco Elysium is considered a modern CRPG as the genre, computer role-playing game.
Right.
Disco Elysium is considered the most modern of that genre.
Good game.
The other modern entries are Pillars of Eternity and Tyranny. Obsidian kind of brought the genre back a little bit recently. The Wasteland games too.
Interesting. That's not, and it's on your phone. That's interesting.
Yeah. So are the Baldur's Gate games. So is Icewind Dale. These are all like kind of contemporary games that are all quite similar in their construction. And they were all ported to mobile by a developer called Beamdog a number of years ago. They don't really support the game, so it's possible that you buy it and then you can't actually like play it on your latest Android phone or whatever because it's just not supported anymore. But for me, it was fine. I have a Galaxy S9, so modern enough phone to where there could be some problems, but I haven't had any problems. I've been playing on my phone and my tablet. When I want to switch between the two, I just send myself the save on Google Drive, and then I download it again.
This game was released in '99.
Yep.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
What was Baldur's Gate released around that same time?
Baldur's Gate was a couple years earlier.
Earlier than that?
Because it's funny because when I was looking at the saves, all of the game data is titled after Baldur's Gate because I think it runs on the same engine. Planescape Torment was made on the Baldur's Gate engine essentially. So I think Baldur's Gate predates Planescape by a few years, but they're all similar time frame.
Interesting. Well, I'm gonna look it up, see if was it expensive? Was it one of those expensive mobile games?
Yeah, I think all of them are regularly priced at around $10 or so, which is not expensive for games, but it's super expensive for mobile games. This one was half off for $5.
That seems high. That actually seems high.
For a mobile game, yeah. Sure, yeah, definitely.
But I mean, I just go off because I have shamefully a lot of the Final Fantasy games on mobile, and those are a little more expensive than that. So I can see how that has its worth. Because you'll pay like $15 for Final Fantasy like 6. And look, do I think it's worth it? Yes. But I can see if somebody doesn't want to fork over that kind of money for a mobile game. At the same time, these are full games.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think they understand they're priced according to their audience because the audience for Planescape Torment on mobile is not a mobile game audience. The audience is people who are aware of it from who have either played the game and want to replay it, or are core gamers or PC gamers or whatever, and have heard of it but want to play it in a more easy to pick up and put down fashion.
Right.
That's the audience. So it's people who are used to paying top dollar for games, not people who are used to paying nothing.
And it's funny, we were talking about Baldur's Gate. We're going to talk about the developer of Baldur's Gate in a couple topics. Before we get to that though, Cole, what have you been playing this week, man? So, I see you have your background.
I do. And that's actually what I've been playing. I'm not going to talk about, I've been playing Rocket League, obviously, but I'm not, unless anything major happens, like I hit champion, then I'll let you guys know. But
you gotta let us know.
Dude. So that's 6 years in the making, and I'm still not there. And I just feel like
I'll send you a cake.
Yeah, dude, I need some help. So if you want to party up, so I logged on my PS4 and I was going to play Returnal. I mean my PS5, sorry, and I was going to play Returnal. And I saw an ad for Fortnite, so it got me, dude. They got
you.
This is the exact ad that I saw, and it what is it? It's something about The Walking Dead, and they have like zombies, and you eliminate the zombies or whatever. So I was like,
I've seen that.
Cool. Yeah. So I was like, I'll pop in there and try it. I used to be into The Walking Dead, and like when it was good, the first 2 or 3 seasons.
Is it just like that?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it completely nosedived. Gosh, season 5.
When they got this is a gaming podcast.
Yeah.
When they got to the jail is when the show fell apart for me.
For me, it was whenever they just beat Glenn with the baseball bat. It was like that was like the height, and then then they teased you because you didn't know who they beat with the baseball bat, so they teased you that whole season, and it just felt like I don't know, they jumped the shark, and the next season it was terrible and went
I think that was
downhill.
season 4. I think.
Yeah, maybe it was. I think it was.
Season 3. When they lost the prison, I was like, how could y'all lose the perfect place for in a zombie like how? Like and I could never like recover after that. And like season 4 happened, that was okay, and I just dropped off that show.
The show lost me as soon as they showed a zombie. I was like, this is super unrealistic. I can't connect with this.
So
I'm out.
episode 1.
I'm out. Episode 1, I'm like,
I'm
not
out.
gonna watch this. This isn't
I'm out.
this isn't like my 900-pound wife. This is so unrealistic. I'm not watching this. I'm going back to TLC. Fuck this.
Well said.
Yeah, seriously, well said. You saved yourself a lot of hours. Anyway,
But still recommend Saints and Sinners for VR.
yeah, heck yeah. But anyway, I popped on there, and so when you get on have y'all played Fortnite in the past 6 months?
A lot.
Yeah.
6 months?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe exactly 6 months ago.
Okay, well, when you log on, they like show you the newest like CG trailer or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, this one was different. It was awesome. So I was watching the CG trailer, and it was Jonesy, the main guy, or whatever, and it was incorporating all the like Master Chief was in there, Lara Croft, Kratos, like all these everyone. Dadgum, who else was it? Terminator, the Terminator girl, Sarah. What's her name? Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was incredible. So I was watching it, and then like they gave me control over my character, and then you could play, and it was just awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Then I jumped into the the mode, the like limited time mode, which is like a fan creation mode now. And the game is seeming like it's going the kind of the Roblox route where like people are just making their own stuff in there. And I jumped in there and I was with a bunch of other people. It was awesome.
I would say Fortnite because when I came back, because I played when it first came out, I was like, neat. I like this sort of game. When I came back not too long ago, I think probably around the time you're talking about 6 months ago, it blew my mind how it's turned into a social media.
Yeah,
it's more of a social media than like Twitter because no one's yelling at each other. It's great.
Yeah, dude.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
I heard someone describe it as like kids get off school and they all just log on Fortnite to hang out.
Yeah, they do.
Which-
All my coworkers' kids go on Fortnite to just hang out. It is what's that movie where everyone's in the game?
Yeah,
Ready Player
Ready
One.
Player
Yeah.
One.
Yeah,
Ready
it's,
Player One.
it's that.
Dude, it felt like that. It literally felt like
Yeah.
I was thinking that same exact thing, watching that cutscene, playing the game, and then going into it. That's exactly what I was
I mean, you've got Travis Scott doing concerts in the sky, and you're like, he's got a burger at McDonald's tie-in. It's the whole.
I did log on for that.
I mean, it was
did
cool.
experience that. I was like, this is amazing.
It was super cool.
Dude, I mean,
No other
honestly,
game could even attempt to do that.
what they've done, like what they do in these in-game events, that was like 3 or 4 years ago when they started doing that. It is unprecedented, and it's still unmatched in gaming. And the fact how they're adapting so fast is you got to give them credit. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the game is free.
Yeah.
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 Like, that's the part that's so magical. Like if this was a $60 game, like it would still be like people would still get it, but it's free.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And that's the
Really.
magic of it.
They
It's a
struck
free- like,
gold.
it's so amazing. And it's from the guys who make the engine that runs a vast majority of AAA experiences.
Dude, talk
You
about
know?
taking a good idea with PUBG. And PUBG, I remember when everybody was talking about when that was reaching the zeitgeist of just gaming. It was like in our circle zeitgeist. And I remember them saying it was like 1.5 million concurrent players watching or playing or whatever. And we were like, man, there's nothing like this, whatever. They took that idea and just ran with it, perfected it.
They
and just
threw
hit a
money.
daggum-
They threw
Yeah.
money behind that brilliant
Yeah.
idea because I mean I forgot the name of the studio, but that's the point, right? Like the studio was not as like they're not Epic.
I I don't know.
Like
I don't know.
Epic suck because Fortnite was already out before PUBG was huge.
No. Oh yeah, you're right. But it was
The
it was
Save the
Epic
World,
though,
the
right?
Save the
Yeah, the
World
Save the
mode.
World was. Yeah.
The thing is, I played Fortnite on the Save the World mode because my friend was really hyped for some reason. I played, and I was like, oh, this is fine. I like the shooting, and I played PUBG for a little bit, and then Fortnite was just this free thing, not in beta, funded by one of the biggest video game entities in the entire space. It was it was amazing. It was an amazing. It's probably one of the most influential games of our I don't know about lifetimes, but at least in the past decade.
Maybe
Yeah,
not.
I remember.
Maybe
Go
not
ahead, Taylor.
us. Maybe not us. We're a little old.
I
But
feel you.
it
Yeah,
is-
that's why I hesitated, but I definitely think in the past 10 years,
Oh yeah.
there's no game that can say that they have influenced the culture as much as Fortnite
No.
has.
Minecraft came out just outside of the 10-year window,
That's
I think, right?
Yep,
Right?
yep.
The original
Yeah.
release.
2012.
I mean, those
Yeah.
those
And
are
truth be
So
told,
it was okay.
I would say even if you include Minecraft, I'd still say it's second to Fortnite.
I think
Really?
I would say Fortnite has more immediate impact. Minecraft might have more sticking power in the long run.
Minecraft seems like it will go the Tetris route to me.
Lego. I was thinking Lego because of how the game works and what
Well,
people
yeah.
always compared it to. Tetris sure is it. You don't really
timeless,
but not.
Tetris is a timeless thing. You know what I'm saying? I think Minecraft is also one of those timeless things where, yeah, they're gonna look better in ways. Like they're 4K modes. You know what I'm saying? There's ray tracing, but it's still Minecraft, and it's still what it does amazingly well. So I think that it's more similar to that. Even then, though, I don't know if I could put it above Fortnite.
Are we doing PG? Are we doing PG podcast? I forget.
No.
Okay.
Why would we do PG?
Let loose.
Okay.
Let loose.
You know what? Dawned on me. Minecraft might not have the sticking power Fortnite does because of the amount of Fortnite porn out there. You look at Pornhub's 2020 statistics, which they release every year. Which, thank you, Pornhub. Fortnite porn across the board just showed up, and it was massively popular.
Wow.
In Russia, the U.S., Australia, Japan, Mexico, Brazil, every single country had Fortnite porn on its top 10 most viewed categories.
That's crazy. I know that was a huge thing when Overwatch came out.
That's
and
true.
I assumed that was,
Overwatch is still there.
I've heard Overwatch porn. I heard that was a big thing.
And
I
assumed the reason that it was so big for Overwatch was because all of the characters were so unique and identifiable.
Yeah.
But for Fortnite, they don't really have identifiable characters, right?
I think that might actually be a benefit. They also bring in characters in the Fortnite style. So there's a very easily replicated style of Fortnite character that you can make in Blender in a day. So if you want to make porn of it, it wouldn't be too hard to remodel those characters or just rip them from the game.
You guys want to know what I think the difference is between Minecraft and Fortnite? When Minecraft was released, they released packs and all that kind of stuff, but they didn't adapt with the times, and Fortnite is. I feel like Fortnite is changing more and more
constantly.
Yeah, and honestly, on the turn of a dime, they're changing and adding stuff and bringing all these pop culture references in.
I feel like Minecraft. It's hard to say it's a niche. I think if it's a niche, it's the biggest niche.
Oh,
I think it's still in that niche territory. I don't think Fortnite you can ever consider it's a niche. It's like the it's the most mainstream game possible.
I've never played Minecraft.
Me neither.
I've never touched it.
Really?
No.
I have it on 5 systems and I haven't played it.
I downloaded it when it came out and I never played it. I don't even remember the password for that account, but
never got into it either.
My sister loves that game.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just I don't I get it. I was never a Lego kid.
But it seems like it hit that. It seems like it hit that generation just a step behind us.
It was really big when I was in high school.
Same,
so I might have been just a little bit too old for it. But at the same time, I did play it, quite a bit of it with my friends. That's Minecraft is one of those games that I feel is really best when you're playing with people.
Mhm.
I don't have
But it's
friends.
not just the creation element of it. There is a strong survival game there too. So if you're interested in survival games, you might be interested in Minecraft just because of that reason. I think that the thing you guys were hitting on, I think you were talking about it. It kind of, sort of like in the frame of adapting to the times. But what Minecraft was a very quickly evolving game too, but Minecraft was always Minecraft, whereas Fortnite is the metaverse, and they have so many licenses and they have so many things that are going on in there. They're bringing in other popular properties into the fold in
Like
a
The
way that
Simpsons.
Minecraft isn't. Like Minecraft had skins, but they never fully
Well,
embraced the
and we,
idea of like bringing Star Wars into
yeah,
Fortnite,
and
bring Kratos, and all these characters.
And the thing is, they tried that. Like when it came to Nintendo Switch, they had like a Mario skin. Like they do that. It's just like I don't think they do enough of it,
Yeah, you can play as
now
Peter
it's not in
Griffin.
the zeitgeist.
you got to remember though. Now it was harder for Minecraft too because this always connected consoles and stuff and updating and everything is a lot easier now than it was back then.
And it was
Right.
also made by a Nazi, so you know.
I do contend that Fortnite wouldn't have happened without Minecraft, though. The building
Very true.
element alone
I agree.
is
Yeah.
Very
very
true.
much
Minecraft paved the way, but Fortnite is running home.
Yeah.
And I know you looked up the statistics for or you found the statistics for the
Oh, I
for the
looked it up.
Fortnite port.
I get notifications. Yeah.
I would love to see if there is a market for Minecraft porn.
There is. Small little tangent. Minecraft Let's Plays on Pornhub are huge, and Pokemon Emerald and Minecraft have there are Let's Plays, hour and a half long Let's Plays of like people just playing. Nope, not sexually, because technically Pornhub is YouTube, but they allow adult content. That's the most popular thing on their website. They technically allow and encourage people to produce whatever content they want on it.
Oh, should we list
I've
Dukes of Gaming?
I've
Should
watched
we
some
be
bootleg
featured?
movies
Me
on
as well.
Pornhub.
I never knew that.
I assume someone like finishes and they're like, I could go. They see a Minecraft Let's Play on the side and they're like, before I clean up, let me see what's going on over here. I'm sure they've got the same thing with Fortnite now. I haven't looked into it that much, but I do know Minecraft has a very big base of Let's Plays on Pornhub. And
I knew there was like pirated movies on Pornhub.
Same,
and that
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but I
Yeah,
never knew
I've
that
watched some pirated
that
movies on
anyone
Pornhub.
cared about Let's Plays on Pornhub.
And Thomas, more directly to your point, yes, there is Minecraft porn.
Dude,
We live in a
I
crazy
feel like
crazy world.
This could be topic of the show. Like,
Topic of the show.
no, I will go back
Episode
and say.
69. How about that?
Hey,
So I played that for a few minutes, and then I played Returnal again, and I cannot get out of the first biome. I don't know what's wrong with me. I really struggled, and it really was pissing me off every time I would die on a run. Like more so than Hades or Dead Cells. Like it was getting to me, like to the point where I was like, okay, screw it. Finally,
There is a level, yeah, there's a level of frustration that game brings that I usually don't get in single player games. Like in multiplayer games, there is that level of frustration, but it's a multiplayer game. So it makes sense. You're playing against another human being. This game, because the runs you have to do are so long and you have to survive so much that when you make one little mistake, it feels awful because you just spent like 45 minutes to an hour in this game. When in something like Dead Cells or something like even like Hollow Knight or something like trying to think of another one, Hades, main one, like you can get through a run of Hades in like maybe like a whole entire run in like 2 hours, if that.
Yeah,
Like it takes 2 hours to get out the first two biomes if you're facing both bosses. It's a lot.
When you
It's a lot.
45 minutes or an hour in, like just like Hades, I guess your average death in the beginning was probably 15 or 20 minutes. 10, 15, 20 minutes you would die, then you go back. So
The
it's
game,
frustrating.
I think Returnal is more like Demon Souls than it first lets on, or a Souls game than it first lets on. It doesn't feel like that because obviously it's just a different game. But the level of, because in Demon Souls that's typical.
Well, but the thing is, you have lanterns and stuff you go back to, so
Right,
it's like
right.
Bloodborne or Demon Souls and restarting the whole game every time you die.
Right. There's nothing that like, and I will say I'm not trying to spoil anything, but there is a point in time where this does get easier. But to get to that point, to me, like I pushed through it, but damn, I feel like I shouldn't have had to push through it. Because I don't even
Yeah.
want to look at how many times I've died. You know? But overall respect the game. But
Yeah, I
Ben,
want to
how
play
far
it.
did you
I
get
want to
into
play
it?
it.
I haven't picked it back up since last time we talked about it, but I will after I am done with Planescape.
Got you. All right, Taylor, what have you been playing this week, man?
I have been playing Pokemon Snap.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I wasn't planning on buying it. I was not, but it's actually because of this little podcast that I did. Because I know my place. I doubt any of you have played it.
I'm curious about it though. I'm
Yeah.
curious if would a 3-year-old like this game? 'Cause
Absolutely.
Is it open world?
No, it is not open world, but it is world opening. Now, I may have taken too much Delta 8, but this game has opened my mind up in reality more. I did not expect to like it because I don't remember liking the original Pokemon Snap. There's something so weird. It's a weird experience to go through this game because it is an open world. It's just the opposite of open world. You are on a set track that lasts a certain amount of time every single time. You go from point A to point B in a minute and a half, and that's it. You don't get any other say. That's your time limit. That's your course. You get to choose what direction you're pointing, and then you take the pictures. So it's this weird, I know I'm missing something feeling when you're facing the wrong way. Because you're trying to catch all these rare and unique moments that these Pokemon are interacting in. And it's never the same. I was expecting the Pokemon to be like on a loop. But I have been playing for quite a bit and they haven't looped once. They're always doing something unique. They're always acting a new way.
The AI must be incredible.
I'm sure it's programmed in a way that it's set to do a certain thing a certain day or a certain way you've leveled up. There must be some parameter there, but it must be really good. When I go outside now, I'm looking at squirrels a different way. I'm like, if I face you the right way, will you come to me? Will you go eat that nut? What you gonna do? I feel more confident. I feel more confident around frogs. I can put my hand down and say, "Hop on." The game it's a lot of fun. I'm surprised at how much fun I'm having in it. It's the best Pokemon game I've played in a long time.
Really?
Oh yeah. Because the thing about Pokemon is, when you play it, you sort of, because it's an RPG. It's almost like a text-based RPG. Pokemon's almost like a text-based RPG, where you have to fill in all the blanks because the programmers and the directors and the storyboard artists don't do any of that for you. They don't do anything. So you have to fill in all those blanks, and most people just imagine cool scenarios between their Pokemon fighting. This game actually gives you those cool scenarios of just Pokemon doing things in wild. They feel like real animals. I recommend it. I'm shocked I like it because it seemed so boring to me. It seemed really boring to me before I played it. But it is a lot better than most Pokemon games. It's got nice graphics. It's relaxing. It's calming. There's no stress. If you don't catch a Pokemon, if you don't get a shot, just try again later. And if it's not the right shot, so what? You got a shot. That's life. That's life. If you miss your shot, you get another one. It might not be the same, but could be better, could be worse. Who knows? Doesn't matter. Just live your life. Go down that track to die. That's what Pokemon's all about.
It sounds like a safari.
It is like a safari. It's exactly a safari. Yeah.
And I love Safari. So it's like as you describe it, I'm like, I didn't realize it was that Safari. Like I've done safaris for different vacations I've taken.
Huh.
That actually sounds more up my alley than I thought.
Yeah.
I gave it credit for.
That's
That actually sounds pretty compelling.
comparing it to
I don't
Safari
know
is
if it's
perfect.
$60 compelling, but it sounds compelling.
Yeah. There's still a lot of the game for me to open up. There's quite a lot of levels, and this is the game. The advertising doesn't describe this very well, but the game opens up through a very good experience point system. You start off with one course, and each course levels up. You don't level up; the courses level up while you progress through them. So you get more and more Pokemon in those, and more interactions, and more tools to interact with the world in those courses. But that's not the same for all those courses. You might level up to level 3 on the first course and get certain berries, but you can't do that in course 4. You have to level up in course 4. So it does continuously like encourage you to get good pictures. And it is just like a safari. You do sort of feel like you're in Jurassic Park, and those big bulbs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Like the actual like what Jurassic Park is supposed to be.
Exactly. If it worked, yeah.
And the Pokemon don't go haywire and try to kill everybody on the island.
No, but you do definitely see Pokemon kill each other.
Taylor's not all the way through it. They might go haywire.
Or in Pokemon
That's
Snap
true.
2.
There is this one moment where a Pokemon definitely eats another Pokemon, and it's pretty fucked up. Like I know what. Spoilers: a Pidgeot comes down and swoops up a Magikarp out of the water and takes it off in the sky. Like,
maybe you put him down.
That's not gonna be a happy ending. That's I've read those creepypasta Pokedex entries. That's not gonna be good. Anyway, it's a fun game, and it is much like a safari. So, if that's your thing,
on it.
Super relaxing, super chill.
You just gave better promotional material for that game than I've heard at all. I've heard it like because I'm not sure if the marketing probably wasn't directed towards me per se, but when they were marketing the game, I was like, this doesn't look like it's fun.
The marketing is very
like
bad. It doesn't look fun. It does not look fun, but it is. Yeah.
But you kind of describing it like a safari, that sounds fun.
It
sounds very fun.
It is like a safari, and it is fun. It does feel interactive, even though it's not open world. It does feel like you're interacting with it, so it's cool.
Good stuff. So I've been playing this game for 2 weeks. So I've been playing Returnal, of course, but I kind of put that down on I'd say like Tuesday. I went as far as I can go, and I lost on some bullshit to the 4th boss. And I said, I'm done at least for now. At least like I've gotten far in this game. This game has frustrated me more than most games I even allow. So I'm just going to kind of put this down, probably pick it back up. I'd say maybe a week or 2, but not before I platinum Spider-Man Remastered. Because look, here's the thing.
Second time?
Yep, this will be the second platinum. I don't platinum games, like I said last week. This game is kind of undersold itself because it is one of the exclusives for PS5. I know we talk about Miles Morales and we talk about Demon Souls, but this is the other one that's like a launch PS5. This is a PS5 game. And I borrowed my PS4 back. It's over a friend's house. I put it in the system. I put my old save from PS4 days Spider-Man. And then I just compared them. I was like, oh, wow, this is just a completely this is impressive how great this looks. So it's the best experience. It's my favorite game ever. And, it's the only thing that's different is they changed Peter. And I can live with that because I didn't like how the original Peter looked in the original game. So I'm good with that. It's one of the best looking games I've ever seen, just based on the fact that they just made it look exactly like Miles Morales. So I highly recommend anybody who has a PS5 who is looking for a game that, can show off their console, and you've already played Demon Souls, you've already played Miles Morales. If you have Miles Morales, you get this for free. So
Oh,
what the hell? If you haven't
dope.
played this before, you might as well.
Okay.
No, it's an extra $20 if you got the regular version of Miles Morales. You have to get the $70 version of Miles Morales to get
Oh.
Spider-Man Remastered for free.
I thought that the edition that's $70, like that's the one that is a PS5, and the PS4 version is, I could be wrong. So there's one that's like
Miles
$40.
Morales
Okay.
is Miles Morales is not considered like a full price game. It's a budget price game, which is puts it at $50 for the PS5 generation, because budget price games in the PS4 generation were $40. But I think the reason it's priced like that is because it's short compared to the first Spider-Man game, and because it's like, it's made on the same engine and all that kind of stuff. So it's more like a standalone expansion rather than a full new game, I think is probably how marketing was thinking of it. But it's plenty of game there in Miles Morales. But yeah, you have to pay the $70 version in order to get Spider-Man Remastered.
I didn't realize you could. I didn't realize you could just get Miles Morales by itself. I didn't realize that. I thought that the only edition that was for PS5, you get both. I didn't realize that. Okay.
You
that makes
actually,
sense.
weirdly, you can't get Spider-Man Remastered on its own.
Right.
You have to
I
own
know.
Miles
That's what
Morales,
I know
so-
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So it must be an ultimate edition of some kind then.
It is.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. So I bought the ultimate edition. So yeah, if you have the ultimate edition of Miles Morales, you have Spider-Man Remastered. You just need to download it. If you haven't played the original Spider-Man, it's one of the best games on PS4, in my humble opinion. So I'd recommend it highly. You get ray tracing, you get a 60 frames per second mode, and you get them both combined in one mode. So highly recommended if you haven't played that. If you're looking for something for your PS5. Besides that, y'all, we're not going to talk about PS5. We're going to unfortunately talk about the fact that Starfield, Bethesda's latest title, is rumored to be a Xbox and Xbox and PC exclusive. So I'm not super surprised about this, but at the same time, it's like that's a warning sign for what's about to happen to these Bethesda games. To me,
Yeah, dude. To me, it was. I thought it was obvious when it first went down. I was like, okay, they didn't want to say it because they're trying to portray that they're not anti-consumer, and it was kind of happened during all that all that Sony bad press about the anti-consumer stuff. But yeah, I saw this coming, and this is a smart play for Microsoft. I like it.
absolutely. Like it is, to me, they needed just a list of exclusives, and they literally bought the best that money could buy.
Is Bethesda the
And look,
best?
Yeah, that's
well, the best as far as the free market goes of like cross-platform games.
well,
Sure.
I would say Take Two, just because I'm Rockstar.
It's just the volume of games you get with Bethesda, because you're getting their published games too. You're getting the Death Loops, even though it's PlayStation exclusive. You're getting stuff from, was it
Doom
It's Prey made by the same people who made Dishonored?
yes.
Arcane,
And
right,
Deathloop.
right. You also get ID, who made it's
Doom.
you get Doom, you get Wolfenstein with Machine Games. Like there's a lot of games you get.
Okay. Yeah.
And so
the
question has been, are we getting these all on Xbox, or are some of them going to be cross-platform? And I'm starting to lean towards, I don't think any of them are going to be cross-platform. I'm starting to lean that direction.
I don't know. It's I think the last dodgy thing that Phil Spencer said about it, which everything he's been saying about it is dodgy,
Cryptic as hell.
was that they're going to take it on a case by case basis, and games that have had some legacy on other platforms may stay on those platforms. So maybe the next Elder Scrolls comes to PS4 or something like that. Maybe not. Maybe the next Fallout does. Maybe not. I think they want to leave the door open just in case, so that they don't create an expectation that they're never going to go cross-platform.
Right.
But as soon as he said that, that was what told me that Starfield was going to be an exclusive, because it has no legacy anywhere. So it's a brand new IP. They just cordon it off to their platforms, and there you go, big exclusive right out the gate.
Here's the question though: what does a legacy game mean? Because if we're being completely honest, the worst version of Skyrim is on PS3. That's the worst version of Skyrim.
There's a perfectly serviceable version on PS4 as well. It doesn't.
I forgot about it. You're okay. The special edition. You're right.
Yeah, and it's on Switch too, and it's it's on VR.
Right.
So,
but what I'm saying is this, like, because when you think about Elder Scrolls, I don't think PlayStation is the platform you think of when you think of Elder Scrolls.
no,
I would say it's Xbox, because Morrowind's on Xbox, Oblivion's on Xbox.
I think PC, just
Skyrim
because of
was
the
the first
modding
one,
community, but
yeah, it's true. PC as well. And I will say, I think all these games will be PC as well.
yes, yeah. If they're
just
Xbox
don't think-
exclusive, yeah.
Right. I just don't think they're coming to PlayStation. Hell, I'm not for sure if they might not come to Switch. Like, maybe PlayStation is the only people frozen out from some of these games. I can easily see down the road they'll release something on Switch. Like, maybe they'll release like Fallout 4 one day, like older games.
Right.
But I think they might have frozen PlayStation out of the new upcoming games from Bethesda,
Except for the ones that they already have existing deals with, like Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo, which are both Bethesda published games,
right?
That have deals with PlayStation 5 that Microsoft, it seems, made no attempt to buy out that contract.
Right. That's right. And I assume that's also because how much money are you really losing on having that be on PS4? Like, not really. Like, those are pretty much new IPs. So they're trying to find an audience anyways. Elder Scrolls is one of those where I don't know. Like, it's weird because Philip Spencer did say the legacy thing, but I don't know if that applies to Elder Scrolls, because Elder Scrolls has only had one official release on PlayStation, at Skyrim.
I don't think this is the thing. I don't think they know yet. I think this is just a way for them to get out if they want to make the change.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think that too. But I think that they need to be creating this brand and this idea that if you want to see these awesome, I'm sorry, but look at Netflix. If you want to see these awesome shows, you got to subscribe. You got to be a subscriber of Netflix. Like, or if you want to play these games, if you want to play Bethesda games, you got to be part of Game Pass. And just, hey, it's only $10 a month. I mean, that needs to be. They need to start instilling that in all gamers. Like, look at the value you get, and just absolutely not put it on PlayStation, because we know PlayStation is probably going to release a competing platform to Game Pass, at some point. I just feel like they build that brand and they build it up, and just, man, if every Bethesda game comes to Game Pass and does not go to PS5, that would be huge.
I mean, what do you pay? How much was it? $10 billion?
$10.
7.4.
I think. Like, what are you paying $7 billion for? That to me is the main question. Like, to me, $7 billion pays for this. Like, I'm not saying it's just exclusively this, but it pays for the sale of all those Bethesda games that would have come on PS4 or PS5.
And if you just wanted like a few games exclusive, like Starfield, why not just pay for exclusivity for that particular game and not waste $7 billion?
Right. And this is the controversial question to me. Are we confident Starfield is going to be this, because it's gotten a lot of hype.
To me, this is their last shot.
Yeah, I was looking at their, like, not discography, but their, like, what do you call, like, the previous games?
I'm looking at it right now, dude.
I was looking at it, I was like, it's been a while since they had like a definitive hit.
Dude, to me, I'm looking at it and I'm just seeing underwhelming, flop.
Yeah, it's either underwhelming or flop. Because I'm not even going to talk about Fallout 76. I've heard it's a good game now. I've heard that from trusted people.
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
Doom
so you can't
hit.
count that. And then Fallout 4. I don't want to be disrespectful to Fallout 4. I had a fun time.
I like Fallout 4.
I like Fallout 4 too, but it was not like
It didn't land well.
God's gift to PS4 and Xbox One
No.
and PC. It wasn't that.
Fallout
And-
4 sold very well, though.
It did. And it's not a bad game. It reviewed well. It was a solid game, but it's not like if you rank like some of the best games that were released in that generation, Fallout 4 is not cracking top 20.
No.
Yeah, I think it was disappointing. I enjoyed the game too, but it did not live up to the hype. That was one of the most hyped games I've ever experienced.
Yeah,
That E3 was crazy.
it was.
It was crazy. And it was the craziest part was it was E3 2015 and the game came out in 2015.
Yeah,
Right.
that was one of the best E3 press conferences I've ever seen. Was that one? And when they came out with that trailer to the song, I think it was a John Denver song. It was West Virginia.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
That was for 76.
Yeah.
That was for Fallout.
Oh, was that 76?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I do
Fallout
remember that,
404 was in Baltimore.
Okay, that's right. So
No,
Boston.
Boston.
But that was I am thinking about that E3 because they came out and they revealed it. It's releasing in 3 months, and that's when he had the they released Fallout Shelter the same year, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That night they released Fallout Shelter.
Yeah, that night. Yeah.
But it wasn't like if you really want to go back to their last definitive hit, it's literally a decade ago.
Yeah, dude. To me, this is their last shot to really get the hardcore fans back, really 100% trusting Bethesda again. They need to.
I
deliver
disagree on that because they still have Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's the one
they
that
showed
you
that JPEG.
That's the
yeah.
one you cannot mess up. If they
But if
mess
they-
that one up, it's over. They
If they
need
fail
publish
to
games
deliver
around.
on Starfield, though, are you going to believe that they're going to deliver Elder Scrolls 6 if they fail to deliver on this one?
I will because Skyrim is one of those games that if I get a follow-up to it that remotely gives me just an upgraded experience, and I thought that's what I wanted from Fallout 4, but I think Skyrim has a better chance of doing it. I feel like enough time has passed where it's going to be amazing as far as because they're going to upgrade the engine for that. Starfield seems like, I don't know. It's because we don't even know what it is. We pretty much know what we're getting for Elder Scrolls 6 for the most part. So that to me is the one they can't mess up. Starfield, I am genuinely curious as to what this game's going to be. If it does well, then I'm going to be more excited for Elder Scrolls.
yeah,
if it
for
doesn't
sure,
do well, I'm
for
still
sure.
going to be kind of hyped for Elder Scrolls 6.
To me, it's akin to not Rocket League, to Grand Theft Auto. If they are Rockstar, if they released GTA 5, and then they had 7 subpar games, or just not up to that quality, then they release Red Dead 2 would be like the equivalent of Starfield. And if it just underwhelmed, I would not trust them to come back with GTA 6 and live up to that Rockstar brand, like the hype that we had for Bethesda back, when Skyrim, the Skyrim
Right.
hype.
But Bethesda Game Studios has only had 2 games since Skyrim. Bethesda, the publisher, has had many, but
Yeah.
Bethesda Game Studios that make Fallout, Skyrim, the developer, have only had Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, which Fallout 76 is, I'm not even sure how much of that was developed at the Maryland office, which made Skyrim and Fallout.
I don't think
4
it
and
was
3.
developed in America. I think it was developed in the Montreal office, right?
I think the Montreal office handles mobile, but I could be wrong. I think they're the ones that handle Fallout Shelter. There are offices in
You might be right about that.
Austin
yeah.
and Dallas. I think those are the ones that chiefly handled 76, but it's all speculation. It came off as though it was not the A team, whatever that means, making 76, though it was the A team making Fallout 4.
Well, can I say I think Bethesda as a company does a damn good job. You look at their gameplay and it's kind of spotty, but their characters, compared to a lot of games, I think we were talking not too long ago about GTA, and how I like their characters, but clearly some of you didn't connect with Trevor or whoever. But I think there is this weird niche. I would almost call Fallout 4 a what's the phrase? A cult. It's a cult game where there is this underground sort of fandom for it because of the characters. Bethesda does a damn good job making characters. People are making fan art of Nick Valentine all the time, but they didn't focus on characters for Fallout 76. They focused on their gameplay, and it fell super flat. When they put all their eggs in that basket, and they got nothing. They got nothing in return. So as long as
nobody's playing a Bethesda game for gameplay, that was the mistake.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. Like that was a mistake that they made because Fallout 76 doesn't play to Bethesda's strengths.
I don't know.
Because you're right, that world, the worlds that they make, the characters that inhabit those worlds.
That's what you love.
That's why we love Bethesda games.
Yeah. The world. I like the worlds.
Unlike Grand Theft Auto, which I would say is gameplay oriented. Even if you don't like the characters,
it's a movie.
It's a movie.
Like,
it's
Grand
a
Theft
movie.
Auto is basically an open world that has a movie in it.
But an action movie.
Right.
If it was
And
like if it was
I
her
love it for it.
or some like think piece, it might be a little hard to get into. But it's Fast and the Furious, you know.
The problem with Bethesda is the competition in a lot of ways is caught up. 'Cause I don't think there was anybody that like The Witcher 3 to me, like I played that game probably just as much as I played Skyrim.
The major competition is waffling just as much as Bethesda is, unfortunately.
Oh, that's true. That's true too. But I think they didn't have competition before.
We could have made that case. No, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think BioWare was the chief competition in the role playing space, but BioWare cared more about the role playing, and Bethesda cared more about the open world, which were the two distinctions in their approaches. But then, the CD Projekt Red comes in with The Witcher 3, and we think that Bethesda's got a real big contender. But Cyberpunk is just as troubled as 76 was.
So this makes me think, like, who is living up to their... BioWare's not living up to their reputation. Bethesda doesn't really seem to be. CD Projekt Red,
Could it be us?
As far as open world games, Rockstar is the only one that's lived up to every game they've made.
The reason I say I think it could be us is because it might be that open world RPGs are kind of hard to make.
Yes.
But there's only one person that literally there's only. Is there one studio we agree on that can do it?
Rockstar doesn't make RPGs
though. They don't make art like Red Dead is not RPG. But it's an open world game. But there's no like
Red Dead is almost an RPG.
Nah.
It's close.
It's deep. RPG is not like a qualitative. It's not like a quality thing. We're not
like Madden's an RPG, like in technical terms. You know,
right.
A lot of games have adopted RPG systems. I wouldn't necessarily call Red Dead an RPG. I would call it a deep game. It's a very obtuse, deep game, but I wouldn't call it an RPG.
I wouldn't call it an RPG.
Way
but
that Skyrim and Cyberpunk is.
It's close though. I mean the side missions you can do. The world's just open to explore. I mean, you upgrade your character a little bit. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely not an RPG.
I think there's like light RPG elements to it, but I don't think it's definitely not. It definitely doesn't care about player expression through the character the way that BioWare and Bethesda do in their games. There is some though, like you can kind of steer. You can in let's say in Red Dead 2, you can kind of steer. What's the main character's name?
Arthur
Morgan. Whether he's actually going to redeem himself in the end or not. But aside from that, he's a character. He's a defined character.
Well, do you remember the system? You remember the system? I know this is like not that big of a deal, but the system where you can walk by and you can you can say something positive, something negative, you can react to the pedestrians. That was pretty neat. I mean,
Cole, you're low key convincing me that Red Dead is an RPG. I never thought of it as that kind of game. Honestly, you're making some very good points right now.
Look at all the control you have over the way he looks and everything.
Yes, they did do that, where it's like the little interactions. Yeah, like they did allow you to kind of have a conversation. The only thing I would say of why it's not is that those things don't have any consequence per se. The same way like in a Skyrim.
What's the difference in The Witcher 3 and Red Dead?
I think the
Quest system.
the chief differences to me are the dialogue selection, where you're actually making decisions about how characters are going to talk to other characters,
So
and
that would be
then
it, right? That's the only thing I
no,
can think of.
Quest
and then the
system
specific
too for me. There's no quest system in Red Dead. It's
Yeah.
leveling
there's a
system.
form
The
of it, but
leveling
it's
system
very
too.
bare bones.
Yes, it is.
Red Dead doesn't have a leveling system the way that
That's right.
The Witcher does too, where you're
There's a lot more
leveling up
Yeah.
and then selecting skills and perks and that kind of thing. Red Dead's, or sorry, The Witcher 3's RPG systems, I think, are very light. I think it's much more of an open world game than an RPG if you had to choose one. And I think Bethesda's games are becoming less and less RPGs as well. I mean, Fallout 4 is just as much of like a Minecraft-ish building game than it is an RPG. But yeah, I don't like Rockstar's never aspired to be an RPG studio. I think the more that they're adding stuff like that is for just immersion in the open world. Not to say that there's anything not to say that the games are worse off because of that. In fact, I think it's helping them make more polished products ultimately, because they don't have to juggle the potential of player choice and consequence the way that these other games do. Though though they do in some small ways, like the bounty system, that kind of thing. Like you don't make a choice in a quest in Red Dead that is going to affect a quest 3 quests down the quest chain, right?
It makes you feel like
And
you are, but it doesn't. Yeah.
I think that's the key difference maker in the scope explosion that these other studios experience, and when they think they have a handle on something and then they realize deep into development that it's just way more difficult than they thought it was. Also, Rockstar is the only one of these companies that gets 7 years to develop a product.
That's right. I think that's
In the biggest budget.
Bethesda gets a lot of time too, but Rockstar gets the longest, and they've got the most resources to throw at it.
Yeah.
Now, I think we've exhausted this topic, but I think it leads really well into our next topic, which is another studio that has a lot to prove. Now, BioWare is one of these studios that they're in the upper echelon of studios in gaming. Like, we consider them in the top tier. But similar to Bethesda, they have in the past, I'd say, since the last console generation started, they've kind of meandered a little bit. Now, this week, they released the new Mass Effect Legendary Edition. It's been very well received online as far as reviews I've seen. Have y'all, anybody got a chance to play it or at least seen videos of it?
No. Oh yeah, I saw some videos. It does look good. Looks like it's playing well.
I don't know if I can pull the triggers on $60.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can
No.
do it. Especially since I have them all.
Yeah.
Dude, I would 100% pull the trigger on $60 if it was on Switch.
But the ending is different.
Is it?
Apparently.
They changed the ending?
Spoilers. Apparently,
they
it's
put the DLC. They put
spoilers.
the DLC
Yeah.
in. They put the
I've never
DLC for
played.
free.
Yeah, they've got
so
the Leviathans.
Yeah, so it's though they've kind of fixed a lot of the things that people were complaining about. You know, as far as textures go, like I've seen video, it looks amazing in certain points.
Better than
It still
Andromeda.
kind of looks like. You said better than Andromeda?
It's better. Yeah.
See, Andromeda, I think it's a bad rap, but it wasn't received well. The faces were, messed up. Like we
weren't
all
on,
remember
yeah.
the meme, right? The memes were there. We remember the memes really well,
Yeah.
but I think under all that was a pretty solid game. That I think it's a bad rap.
I
At the same time,
I
it's
compare
well.
Andromeda. My experience with Andromeda was about as quick to no, I'm done as No Man's Sky. Like,
The Walking Dead.
Oh man. See, I played it later. I didn't play. Did you play it at launch?
Yeah.
See, I played it like a year and a half later.
okay.
So faces were better. I had already gotten the meme stuff out the way. Like I know this game has been trashed. I get it. Trashed all around. I just want to play this game to see what it is. And I was like, okay, this is not horrible. It doesn't live up to the Mass Effect name. That's
Sure,
the problem.
Sure. No.
It should have been
It's-
called Andromeda. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that and I'm not saying you can remove the Mass Effect stuff because that stuff's important to the story, but I don't think that it's like this horrible game. I think the Mass Effect name hurts it more than it helps it.
Sure.
Well, all right,
Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying, I think you're right. I think it's trying to be its own thing aside from the story, because the story of Mass Effect is such compelling sci-fi. It's actually very, very good sci-fi.
Yeah.
To just abandon it is I think a lot of people's problem with some of the more modern Star Wars. Is when you try to expand upon something that kind of feels like it's already kind of contained and perfect in a little jar, and you're like, let's do other things, and they're not as good. People get really disappointed. It's not
Where
bad.
are the lightsabers?
Right,
You know,
right,
like,
right.
right. I get exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
For me though, like as far as BioWare as a whole, like if you exclude like Andromeda, we'll put that with it. Andromeda, Anthem, Inquisition. Those are all three games that did not live up to their hype. Those are all the games that they released on PS4 and Xbox One generation. And so while this Legendary Edition's cool, I think BioWare is in a very similar spot to Bethesda. Am I wrong?
No.
Oh, heck no.
Like
Yeah.
I'm confused. I'm confused because I think there's levels of hype that need to be there for, the new Mass Effect that's going to come out whenever it comes out and the new Dragon Age. But should we be prepping for a disappointment, or do y'all think that there's like a chance these games have a chance?
I think we need to prep for disappointment, and then prepare to be wowed in case it is incredible, But until they prove me otherwise, I'm not going to be extremely excited about anything. Now, when I see Starfield gameplay and if it looks like really good, I'm going to get hyped because I just get hyped for stuff beyond reason.
I think Legendary Edition to me is like a squeaky fart. You hear it, you know it's coming, it smells, you notice it, and it passes. And then you're done. It'll be forgotten in a couple of minutes.
What about Mass Effect Legendary Edition smells to you?
So here's my question.
Not in a bad way. Not in a bad way necessarily. It could be a good way.
So all y'all have played Mass Effect, right?
Yeah.
I have not played all three. I played 2 and 3.
Okay, I have never played 1 second of any Mass Effect game. So is that worth $60?
Like the Legendary Edition?
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
absolutely. It's honestly, I would put it as a must play for you.
That's actually fair.
Why is this game so good? Because
Mass Effect is amazing.
I missed it because
might
it was on
have
Xbox
the best overall story in gaming,
without a doubt.
I'm struggling to think of a second, and I haven't played the first game. I've watched the YouTube video of the first game story, but as far as two might be one of the best games of all time.
Heard that. Yep.
3 is up there too, but 3 when it came out had a lot of controversy for the ending.
I've had the ending spoiled, so does that even matter though? It's the
No,
journey.
because you're forming your own character. Like
the ending,
no matter what, like it's not about the ending to me, and the ending never bothered me. It's about the journey of getting there.
Do you like science fiction? Do you like that sort of genre?
I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
I think you'd get a real kick out of Mass Effect then, without a doubt. I think if you like Dune, if you like Twin Peaks, Doctor Who, Star Trek, any sci-fi, Firefly, any sci-fi that is kind of large and grandiose in scale, with some real weird concepts, it's all there in Mass Effect, and you can experience it. There's no reason you shouldn't play Mass Effect.
It has the best dialogue tree in any game.
Yeah.
Is the gameplay terrible or is it?
It's good.
Gameplay's great.
It's good.
Gameplay is really good. Like
I would say
the first one. No, the first one. I can't speak to. I didn't play the first one. It doesn't look fun to me. The second one is to me where they like understood how to make this fun, and then the third one is just an expanded version of the second game.
I hope
I love the gunplay in there.
I hope they revamped it a little bit in the Legendary Collection because I found it very cumbersome and awkward playing it recently. I got Mass Effect 3 around when it came out, and I played just 3, and it did not click with me at all because I only played 3. I didn't play the whole thing. But it like stayed on my backlog, and I knew I had to get back to it because people talk so highly about these games. So I played it with my wife just a couple years ago. I think we started in like 2018, and we played through all 3 games over the course of about a year and a half, jumping back in and out. And the first game was the only one where I like really gave the combat a serious try, and it I guess I tried again at the beginning of the second game because I knew they changed a lot of things, but a couple hours in I was like, this is just boring and I want to get to the next conversation. So I just turned it down to easy, and after that it was just, the fights were just get through this as quickly as possible so we can get to the next story beat. I like the magic, or like, the science powers you have. What are those called? The psionics or whatever.
Yeah.
I believe, but protonics, I believe.
I don't know.
I think it's
have no idea.
protonics. I know you're talking about, right?
Yeah. Those are fun and cool, but the cover system is horrible in my opinion.
It's very clunky. It's clunky.
Yeah, and you have to use it. Like even on easy difficulties, you have to use it. Which
It
just
reeks
ruins
of
ruins it for
PS3
me.
cover system.
Yeah. So
it's better
anyway,
than Grand Theft Auto 4's cover system, but not on like Grand Theft Auto 5's cover system, if that makes sense. It's like somewhere in the middle of those. I consider Grand Theft Auto 4's cover system horrible, but Grand Theft Auto 5's is okay.
The gameplay was not enough to stop me from experiencing the whole story, Cole. I will say that, even though I did not like it.
So when you played it, was it one of these things where it's like, okay, I can see why this was great in 2010 or whenever they came out? Or was it a thing where like, this is great right now?
A lot of it was, you're going to be playing a remastered version, so you're going to be playing one that is blocked 60 frames, I assume, and much better looking. So you're going to have fewer of the tech performance problems that I had, and glitches, hopefully. There are a lot of things that should really show their age about the game, and that's still going to be the case for a remastered version. But the core content of the game totally holds up. Yeah.
The lip syncing is horrible, just first and foremost. It was horrible back then, and I looked at footage, and they did their best. It is not up to snuff for a modern game. Like, you're gonna look at it and it's gonna be, oh, this is like the best version of how a PS3, Xbox 360 game would look. Like the absolute best version of that. But at the same time, the bare bones of it are still old PS3 games. So if you go into it with that mindset, but also know you're gonna get like one of the best stories ever told in video games. I think you'll enjoy it. For somebody who, like me, who has 2 and 3 on my PS3 that I can play whenever, I don't feel a need to buy this because I don't feel that I want to play those games over again, at least right now. Like maybe if it's like $20 one day, right before Mass Effect, whatever comes out, whenever the new one comes out, I might pick it up then. But right now, I would say if you own the old games, it's probably not worth it. Right now, at least.
Should I wait for Switch?
Good question. I don't know if it will come to Switch.
I don't think
I
it
don't know
will.
any BioWare games that are on
There's a
Switch.
rumor.
When I think about it.
Really?
There's a rumor.
I can't
that it
think of
comes
any.
out, but I don't know.
I would just get it for whatever you have that isn't the Switch right now. Get at least 1 and 2, and at least 2. I would say I would try to get 1 and 2. I'm sure they're really cheap right now. Try to get them, and if you like them, get 3. Finish it off. Feel disappointed like the rest of us. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. The lead up is really good. It's just the spoilers. The ending's not great.
Wait, now the Legendary Edition has all 3 games, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you
and they're all 4K 60 frames.
If you want to play it, play it. That's probably a great way to great way to play it.
Yeah, it's definitely the best way you could play those games.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna start with one, like obviously if you get the collection, start with the first one. But if you just find a way to get Mass Effect 2 somehow, that game, I started with that game. Like I didn't have the like memories of 3. Because it was an Xbox exclusive before. I think 3 was the first one that was multi-plat, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
But Mass Effect 2 was Xbox. So I didn't play it when it first came out. I had to wait till it came to PS2. Or sorry, PS3. And when I played it there, I didn't have Mass Effect 1 to go back on. I was like, this is still one of the best games I've ever played. Even without all that. So they all
I
hold up.
wouldn't skip the first one, Cole.
Yeah, I think
It's
if I'm gonna experience the whole thing, I think I need to go with mine.
Yeah.
One is great for it for all sorts of different reasons, and it sounds like they ironed out a lot of the rough edges of the first game.
That's the one I think they gave the most attention to. I think that's what they said in interviews. Would that make sense? Because there was a lot of issues with just jankiness. I mean, it was an early, PS3. It was our early Xbox 360 game, so you can imagine that it's not the best looking. At least the old one. So the work they did, I think, you get that Legendary Edition, start from scratch, make your Shepherd. It'll go along. That was the coolest thing about them, that you would take your Shepherd and then just upload him for the next one. That was the best part. So it felt like it's the same character. And I don't know any other game that did that.
I think there was a BioWare RPG before. I'm not sure if it was Baldur's Gate, but I'm pretty sure they did it in one of their previous RPGs.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Forget, though.
Actually, I really do have to get into Baldur's Gate. I've heard good things about them. I'm into Dragon Age. That's the other thing I want to talk about, because Dragon Age is technically before the new Mass Effect. Do any of y'all have any lineage with Dragon Age?
Nope. For another time, then. For another time.
Yeah, for another time.
Hey,
But I
last
would just say,
question.
Dragon Age is just amazing. It's an amazing
Why
series.
would you?
Is it open world, or I mean, is it semi-open world, like hub worlds? Is that how Mass Effect is set up?
No, you have a hub
Not
world.
really.
You have a hub world, which is your ship. And the ship takes you to the different planets, which technically count as levels.
Okay.
Your ship is
Yes, it's
huge.
level
though.
based.
Your ship is very huge. It's bigger than your average hub world.
Gotcha.
And now, like, you don't have to go through the pains that we had to go through, having to wait in the elevator for what felt like 5 minutes to get to each floor. And I'm sure that is instantaneous now. So yeah, this is. I definitely see there's a lot of benefits to this new version.
And that's all that needs to be said.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of old games, as always, we have our podcast within a podcast, Reminisce. Ben, take it away.
Last episode, I introduced you all to a concept that I have called my summer of discovery. It's not sexual. It's about video games.
Unfortunately.
This is just so I didn't grow up with consoles at all. My parents weren't about it, so I was mostly a PC gamer. But I always really wanted a game console, and I finally got one in the PS3 around end of 2011, early 2012. And I was playing a few games and just like really starting to enjoy gaming a lot more and get into it. And then the PS4 is coming out 2013, so I have a decision to make. Do I get the PS4 and have no games, or do I basically get everything that I missed on the PS3 and just have a year where I wait for stuff to come out on the PS4 and just play all the great stuff on PS3 that I hadn't played? So I chose the latter option, and I bought over the course of about 6 months, I think this was. So it didn't actually like mostly take place during summer. For some reason, I remember the whole thing as it was just like summer. But I bought and played over this time, this 6-month period, from about January 2014 to July or August 2014 when I went to college. Far Cry 3, XCOM, Enemy Unknown, Little Big Planet 2, Flow, Flower, Journey, Metro Last Light, Skyrim, God of War, Heavy Rain, Infamous, LA Noire, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, Hitman Absolution, all these games that just like run the gamut from genre and big developers, small developers, just lots of different experiences, tons of different things to just sample different ways to play and think about video games. Really what I was doing was I was just looking at a lot of the best of PS3 lists on all these gaming websites and just buying everything from that because I wanted to have everything that everyone considered to be the best of this generation. And that was like I played all the God of War games 1 through 3 during that time. So I got in the Infamous games, and so I got to experience a lot of these franchises that really made the PS3 and PS2 generations. The one that like really stood out to me at that time and really changed the way I think about games forever was Deus Ex: Human Revolution, which was I don't know, do any of you guys have you played this game?
No, I played Mankind Divided, but I haven't played the one before that.
Yeah, Mankind Divided was the sequel to Human Revolution. Human Revolution was the third game in the series and kind of a soft reboot of the series, which had been dormant for a while. These games are immersive sims, what's known as immersive sims. You can think of Dishonored as an immersive sim. I guess you could sort of think of the Shock games as like BioShock is slightly an immersive sim, and System Shock 2 is definitely an immersive sim, but the Shock games like get less and less simmy as they go along. These are just games that are very deep and really prioritize player freedom in action. So they tend to have really great level design because they want to put you in sandboxes where they're just asking you to play with the tools that they give you. You think of Dishonored, like the blink ability, and just how much that opens up the levels into interesting and creative play spaces, and then multiply that by 10, like for all of your powers. That's the kind of game that this is, that Deus Ex: Human Revolution is. But it's tied with this near future noirish conspiracy theory laden plot that was like totally awesome. And I remember playing the game and not knowing anything about the franchise, and then like someone starts talking about the Illuminati, and then they're like a couple sentences in, and then I'm like, oh wait, no, he's serious. The Illuminati is like really the bad guy in this game, which I loved. I just find it like it's just so fun. I love the cyberpunkish noir atmosphere of these games.
It's probably the best cyberpunk vibe game ever made, or at least the series itself. Like,
I think Human Revolution, the art design in Deus Ex never got better than Human Revolution, which is part of the reason that it's my favorite game in the series.
I definitely have to go back to it.
Yeah, that's one where this game is one where it plays a little clunky. Like it's really not like you can play it as a first person shooter, but it's really not intended to be a first person shooter. It's primarily a stealth game, so the shooting is not great. They fixed that for the most part in Mankind Divided, but in Human Revolution it wasn't all that great. So if you guys do go into it, I would definitely recommend playing stealthily. But this is one of those games where you're like looking for vents to sneak through to like bypass entire sections of levels, and that's just something I love when if you are clever enough, basically, if you can figure it out. These games like are great at making you feel clever. You can just miss whole sections of the game by bypassing it, like by hacking through a door or finding a vent to crawl through, that kind of stuff. I love that in games when they have the confidence to say, if you want to miss this combat encounter, here's the option. Just make sure you have the skills to do it. That's awesome. So that's a game that's really stuck with me for a long time, and that's the game that really got me into immersive sims as a genre. I had played Dishonored before, but I didn't really get it. And then playing it after Deus Ex: Human Revolution, it was a totally different experience. So it's probably my favorite genre now. Prey, the Dishonored series, the Deus Ex series, they're all really excellent pieces in that genre. And yeah, that was like probably the crown jewel in my summer of discovery.
I gotta ask about one game on this list.
All right.
How did you think about Heavy Rain?
I really liked it for the most part, and then the ending just like totally fell apart for me. Like I hated the ending. It didn't
I hate that game.
really.
I hate that game.
all the quick time events and
It's
crap.
not even that. It's not even that. Like, cause I like Telltale games. Like I like those type of games. I think that is one. If you just put that in like a Netflix movie, that'd be a horrible movie.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like and the thing is, I like Detroit's fine. Like Detroit, it's not my favorite game, but I respect Detroit. I like the story of Detroit. I like the vibe of Detroit. It has a good cyberpunk vibe to it as well. But Heavy Rain, I remember being so excited about that game. Like for some reason, I don't know. I guess I saw review scores and I was younger back then, so I was like, "Oh, 5 out of 5. Oh, this about to be amazing." And then I'm playing. I'm like, "Yo, even as a high schooler, this is not hitting right as far as the story goes." So, but besides that, besides that one game, that's a very solid list of games.
So, do you like Metal Gear Solid 5? Like the way that it gives you all the tools, you can kind of approach it from whatever angle you want. Did you ever play that?
Yeah. I've played about like 15 to 20 hours of Metal Gear Solid 5. Actually, very recently, I went back in, and I'm going to get back to it. I want to finish it at some point. I think I might try to platinum it, but I'm not going to do it all at once. Do it over years. I love Metal Gear Solid 5. That's one of the things about immersive sims is that they're like very systems driven, and Metal Gear Solid 5 is totally systems driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
What
game.
about Half-Life Alyx?
Love that game.
I really enjoyed Half-Life Alyx, but I didn't find it to be deep in that way.
So I've heard this. I never played it. Tell me if this is true. I heard someone talking on a podcast or whatever saying that they wanted to carry more grenades than was possible or whatever. So they literally grabbed a crate and threw a bunch of stuff into a crate and took that around with them and was pulling their items out of a crate. I thought that was incredible. But
yeah, it's really cool.
Incredible. That's incredible.
yeah.
That's a side.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's that's a side effect of a great physics implementation in the game, and the thing that Half-Life Alyx took really seriously that I think we could have done a little bit better of a job with in Saints and Sinners in our physics implementation was making sure that objects have like really good collision volumes that really closely align to the objects themselves. So a collision object is like, I got my phone here, and I want to make sure that it can collide with other objects, like say my hand in a game. My hand has collision, and it's like maybe the collision on my hand might be like a square that loosely outlines my hand, and then my phone, if I'm not really going in and making sure the collision volumes are adhering to the objects themselves, it might be like a sphere or something.
Yeah.
So that if I drop my phone on the ground, it's gonna like roll.
Yeah.
Because the physics engine thinks that it's a sphere. So like a bucket in our game might not be hollow the way that Alex's is, because they went and made sure that the collision volume was like adhered to the sides of the bucket, and so that you can put things in there and they rattle around and all that stuff. It's very expensive to do that, and not expensive money wise, but RAM wise, to have collision volumes that have lots of polygons.
Oh, I got you.
Which is why you want like the simplest possible object that mostly adheres to what the object looks like to be your collision volume. Like, it's why the things are two separate objects. Otherwise, you could just like have your collision be the static mesh of the object. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty technical, but that's something that I really took seriously in Half-Life Alyx, and it leads to some great emergent moments like that. But I would not call Half-Life Alyx a particularly systems-driven game.
Okay.
Yeah. It has elements of it.
No, I mean it's a Half-Life game. It's a Half-Life game, so it's got a great pace to it, and it's a very detailed. But I don't. It's not systems driven like Metal Gear Solid 5 is.
So what about Breath of the Wild? Were you a fan of that?
Yeah, that's a super systems driven game. I was not as much of a fan of it because to me, the game did not require me to use the systems in a way that tested my ability. You know, it didn't invite me to use them in the same way that Dishonored might. I could have had I wanted to explore and just like put in extra time, but it didn't hold my hand enough or encourage me enough, I guess. And then there were a number of other things about the game that that fell flat for me. But that's a conversation for another time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because I love Breath of the Wild, but yeah, there wasn't that. I didn't feel like I had to be creative when it came to beating that game. But I've seen people on YouTube just do the most creative things I've ever seen. Somebody doing a video game where they're hitting a rock like 20 times, jumping on top of the rock, landing in the castle to fight Ganondorf. I'm like, this is crazy. But the game doesn't encourage you to do that. It's just
it's amazing what you can do in that game, but that's not the experience that I had playing it.
I think we're gonna have to fight about this at a later date, for sure. Because I've got some
I agree with you,
things,
man. I love system-driven games. Like I remember when Assassin's Creed, when it first came out, just the fact of you having to find the person and assassinate them in a crowd, and you kind of had the freedom to do that however you wanted. I was so hyped for that, and it was okay. I didn't really live up to the hype.
That's why the modern Hitman games are some of my favorite.
Yeah,
Hitman.
Yeah. That's definitely a discussion for another time.
Yeah,
absolutely. So this has been the Dukes of Gaming podcast. I'd like to thank everyone, whether it's one person, whether it's 100, whether it's 1,000. We appreciate any view we get. Where can I find everybody on social media? Or you're on video game tags as well.
Greatest show in the galaxy at youtube.com/a bunch of numbers.
Herman_Ben on Twitter.
My PSN is Colace33.
The Real Thomas with the A after the TH on Twitter. Same thing on Instagram. My website is down for now, so I'll promote that next week. But besides that, you can follow me on my socials. And you can follow the Year 4000 on all video gaming, anything except for Steam.
I'm following you right now on Instagram. Better believe it. What was it again?
Fun, y'all. We'll see. It's the matter of fact, I'm sorry. My it's something different. I'll tell you off air.
All right, next week. You'll all know next week.
Follow me on Twitter, everybody. Yeah. This has been the Deuce of Gaming podcast. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. We'll come into you next week with some fresh new topics. Have a wonderful rest of the week, y'all.